get to the money. Gotta get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. So you know that I'm on it. Gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids in there. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. And gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids in there. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Drinking After Dark, a podcast where we discuss random topics while having a few drinks. I'm your host, Darius, and as always, drink responsibly. And y'all make sure y'all follow Drinking After Dark Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And y'all make sure y'all like and subscribe to Drinking After Dark Podcast YouTube channel. Tonight, I have a very special guest with me. I've known this guy basically ever since I was in high school. And I'm going to be honest with you. He is probably, in terms of who I ever played against, basketball-wise, probably the best player I've ever played against in my entire life.
Oh man, I appreciate that.
that I'm telling you, even in my AAU days, he's probably the best that I played against, and I had a healthy hate relationship against this guy. It's part of it was jealousy. It was jealousy, but you know, I just kind of wish I had his height instead of being 5'7", but hey, it is what it is. I want everybody to give a big round of applause to Antwon Harris. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Darius? How you doing? How you doing this evening?
Oh man, I'm all right, man. I'm chilling. I'm finally at home. I get to, talk with you, man. I know you got a lot going on and stuff like that, but
yeah.
I just want to say thanks for coming on to the platform and really doing this for me. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So, man, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, man. Let the people know who you are and what you do.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Antwon Harris. I'm entrepreneur, business owner, education consultant, two-time author. And I just what we do is reimagine the future of education.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And before we go any further with that, y'all know I usually drink my Crown Royal Vanilla mixed with Dr. Pepper and cream soda, but tonight I'm not feeling it. So I'm just drinking a Gatorade tonight.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm on. And, this is going to be a fun podcast because I actually wanted to get Antwon on here for, I don't know, since summertime, I guess.
Yeah.
But I know you have a busy schedule and everything like that. So let's go and start from the beginning, man. Tell the people where you're from and your upbringing, and let them know how you got into basketball, because people don't know, man. Like I said before in the beginning, you were a great hooper. I had this jealousy about you. If I had your height, I probably would have been in places. But let people know a little bit more about you.
Yeah. So I appreciate that. Antwon Harris again from Clarksville originally. I actually was born in Clarksville, but my family's from Michigan. So we ended up moving back to Michigan when I was younger, and then coming back, lived a long time in Michigan, then coming back to Clarksville where I finished up middle school and high school. So, come from a big family. It's about 7 boys, a girl, my sister being the oldest. So a lot of people in Clarksville back in, I guess, early 2000s, mainly on the north side, the Harris boys. We had I guess a little solid name for ourselves, but yeah. And when it comes to basketball, man, I got started with that. It was really tender age of 5. Being in Southwest Michigan at the time, was like an hour and a half away from Chicago. actually. What was it? Yeah, about an hour and a half from Chicago in Michigan, and we used to watch like MJ and the Bulls, man. WGN.
Yep.
We used to catch every single game, and just like having older siblings, man. We um, that was always on TV. Obviously, '92 Olympics, '96, all of that. Was able to see all that growing up. Had crates in the backyard built on a tree. Just really enjoyed watching the game, going out like any other kid, and try to mimic the moves that you saw on TV, the countdowns and all that. So it was it was fun. Life was fun growing up with the sports and competitive. I'm actually from a football family. I had a majority of my siblings play football. I played football as well, but I'm kind of aired on the side of basketball because I had to build for it, and I really loved it. I love football too. I guess I actually love them equally, and played them a lot because that's what we did as boys. We neighborhood football games, neighborhood basketball games. Once we got, I guess, more money, we still didn't have a lot of money growing up at all. But once we got a basketball hoop in our front yard, back in adolescenthood, we those neighborhood basketball games were pretty good. And had some epic battles, not only with my brothers but my cousins that'll come down from Kalamazoo, and then the neighborhood. So it was a lot of fun, man. I mean, a super competitive family. I mean, we competed in everything, and I think that's when it comes to that, that just really kind of set the tone for me. I had was able to watch stuff on TV, but the competitive nature that we did life with was crazy. So, and I still compete at a high level today. Not sports wise, it's just I've transitioned my brain to do it more competitively with myself, compete with self every single day, just being better uh, today than I was yesterday. It's a constant battle. And I enjoy it. But
Who
yeah, that's
was
yeah.
who was some of the players that you were influenced by?
It's probably cliche, but it was MJ mixed with a little Sir Charles, mixed with a little uh Kobe, just kind of watching him once MJ left. I didn't really want to fool with Kobe at first, because I was like, maybe too much like MJ. But then I was just like, oh man, this dude is great. Um, with Duncan, man, I always wanted to, fly high in games. So I saw VC do it. And then actually, man, I also watched a little bit of Matrix, Sean Marion, and seeing like what he did, like a little bit of everything on the court and just all over the place. So it was a lot of influences on that. So I those were it. Those were it. Just being able to see those guys, again, all competed at a high level, always excellent what they did. But that's what I wanted to when it came to sports, man. Especially basketball, I wanted to have a little bit of everybody, not just one person. So yeah.
That competitive drive that you talk about, of course, with the great players you mentioned, they have that fire in them,
Mm-hmm.
right? Do you take that with you now,
Oh
like
yeah.
in your everyday life with everything that you do?
Yeah, it's in everything that I do. I was once told, man, how you do anything is how you do everything. And having that, just being able to transition what I've learned in sports, team sports, uh, and how that transition in life. They always say in basketball, they say ball is life, but actually, when I look at a ball, really is life. It's kind of parallel, and the lessons that you can learn in basketball transition over into life, different skills, mindset that I took in basketball, and it took a while. It took a while to figure it out. How do I take these skills of being a part of these great teams and championship teams, and how do I use that in life? But found a way. Like to be able to do that and see how that transitions and transfers. And I think that was very, very key to me. And I, again, every single day with routines, with having coaches in my life in different areas, and then having having a team around me to be able to help me maximize or unlock my potential in different areas to obtain success.
I always felt like sports. You hear Charles Barkley talk about this a lot. How sports is the greatest thing on earth because of everything that you mentioned, right? People don't understand. It teaches you to be a team player, right? Because when you
Yeah.
go into the workforce, it ain't you by yourself. It's a whole group of y'all, right? And not only that, but in terms of how can I say being coach,
Yeah.
right? Being coach, a lot of us, like you said, you got started at 5, I got started at 7. So to have those coaches early on, you get so used to it to where you understand where they're coming from. They got a job they got to do. And your job is to go out there and execute the plan or whatever they have going on. And not only that, but I also feel like the greatest thing about sports is that you could easily uh, how can I say it? You can become diverse in so many ways by meeting the different people that you meet, like people that you normally wouldn't even talk to, anything like that. You get to meet them and you get to learn more about them or even about their culture, anything like that. So to me, that's how I feel, sports what it really does.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And it teaches you, like you said, discipline. A lot of them don't have discipline, but sports could teach them that discipline. Getting up whatever time you get up in the morning, you got that set schedule.
Yeah.
You might work out in the morning, then of course you got to go to school. You got to take care of that. Then after that, you got your practice. You got your weight training or whatever. Film sessions in any sport doesn't matter, but it gives us a person a sense of structure.
Yeah. Yeah. For
So
sure.
that's why I love sports, and it doesn't necessarily have to be sports. It could be anything else.
Yeah.
Activity wise, it just gives a lot of people structure in that manner. So yeah, I agree with everything that you said, and you know I wish more parents when they get their kids involved. I think I don't know if you've seen clips because I want to get your thought on this before we move on to what you do now. You've seen clips of parents at these little league games. We're not
Yeah.
talking high school level. We're not talking middle school level. We're talking like ages, what, 9, 10 years old. They
Yeah.
at these games, and they the worst part about little league sports.
Yeah.
If you had a chance, right, to like run like a little league organization, and it comes to parents, what would you do in the sense of like these are the ground rules, for the parents to abide by. They have to sign these contracts.
Yeah.
Just
For
like
sure.
would you do something like that? Like in terms of
Absolutely. I actually used to work for the Rockford Park District in Rockford, Illinois. And that's, recreational sports. And with our youth leagues, we made sure that we did that. And we highly encourage parents to just get involved, be a volunteer mom. Well, everything's all volunteer. If you want to volunteer coach is great. Cheerleading coaches, team mom. Usually that's somebody who does the volunteer app and comes on and do things, decent in order and provide snacks for the kids and things of that nature. But I think the difference with the park district and some of these other leagues, that's actually really getting kids started. It's not as competitive yet, but it's just all right. What are you trying? I guess one of the questions I'll ask, like, what are you trying to do here? Like, this is a league at the elementary level, maybe middle school. No, that's elementary level. So hey, if your kid's gonna be good, yeah. My mom always told me when we moved, because I was very pissed off from when we moved from Michigan, leaving all my friends back to Tennessee. She's like, "Hey, son, if you're good enough, they'll find you." And I think, that's the biggest thing. If your kid's good enough, then if the goal for them to play college at a decent level, at an elite level or Division I level, they'll find you. And understanding what's the goal for the league, understanding what's the mission and vision for the league, whatever it is, and just things that you're gonna have zero tolerance for. I think when you have those ground rules set, I've seen coaches get dismissed just because they didn't uphold the maybe the integrity of the game, maybe the rules that were set in place. Granted, there's going to be situations where maybe referee make a bad call, umpire make a bad call, and all of that, or maybe a ref trying to stick it to a kid. Again, let the league deal with that, because what you don't want to have, you want to use those things as use them as leverage, as life lessons. You want to take a lesson out of everything, and that, I think that's one of the things that I will talk about. Is just, hey, all right, not gonna get every call right. Um, you know, what's most important? Kids having fun at this age, health, safety of the game, integrity of the sport, keeping that, and then competitive. Yeah, I love competitiveness, but just understanding that decisions that you make within competitive setting, the effect that parents may have, it could maybe affect your future in not so great way. And understanding that, hey, it's gonna be all right. It ain't that serious. If you're being like really honest, it ain't that serious. Like, what, you get all these championships or win all these games at 9, 10, 11, and 12, but then as a teenager, your kid don't amount to much. You don't know how to cultivate or foster what they've learned at these levels to be able to be successful both in the classroom, in a public setting, as well as on the court and on the field. So it's just, you want to really raise the total kid and just not raise them in their sport. So I just want to be able to, I think taking out what's important in that. So yeah.
Yeah. Parents do take these little leagues way too seriously, and it's just a game to them because the only thing they're gonna do is have fun, right? They just playing the game. They don't really know the game like that. They learning the game,
Yeah.
but when you have the parents out there, they're so fired up, they're so competitive, and you hear them cussing at the refs or the umpires for, like you said, a bad call, which happens on every level.
Mhm.
You just gotta. It's part of the game. It is
Yeah.
part of the game, and you just got to move on from it. I mean, I just say refs will always do a makeup call at some point. We played the sport long enough.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
gonna do a makeup call to where it's like,
Like,
hey,
oh, I
we
missed
messed
that
up,
one. Yeah.
but I got y'all on the next one, so don't worry about it. So all that, cussing at the refs, cussing at the
Uncalled for.
coaches,
Not necessary.
uncalled for, man. It's like, dude, what's that show? Friday Night Tykes, when you had these coaches out here just like
Yeah.
treating these little 9, 10-year-olds like they in high school. Like, come on now. And y'all ain't even
Yeah.
teaching them the proper techniques of playing football.
Yeah.
The
That stuff.
fund
Yeah. That stuff
that's
unnecessary.
that's so like, come on, just go. Just put somebody in there who could deal with kids. Everybody can deal with kids.
Yeah.
I don't care what profession you in. If you're a teacher, a coach,
Yeah.
a youth minister, whatever, you gotta know how to deal with kids, and you gotta
Yeah.
know how to do it while still being firm, but not overly doing it because they're not teenagers to where you could do that. But
Yeah.
that's why I don't get involved because I probably would have went to jail already. Somebody, but
Yeah.
let's go and get into your business, man. Tell us a little bit about your business and what you do.
Yeah, appreciate again. I just can't thank you enough for the platform to be able to share. I have my own business, the Antwon Harris Group, where we reimagine the future of education through emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence is very key. And so that's my company. But within my company, I work as an education consultant. And what I do with that is I have training programs for leaders in the school, professional developments for educators in the school and other people district-wide in schools, like parent liaisons, behavior interventionists. And then also I have a program that I do every week called the Self-Equity Program. And I do that in multiple states, multiple school districts, and multiple schools. So that happens for Tuesday through Friday. And then, there are some travel days built in. And what I wanted to do with that, because I used to coach college basketball at the highest level. I used to teach middle and high school, and just all my experiences. What I wanted to do is take all my experiences in life, and I just really, leaned into God, just like, all right, this, and it happened really in the pandemic. Like, as soon as it started, I was still teaching virtually. I was like, man, when all this lets up, there's going to be a heavy need for what I can offer. So I just did a lot of studying, did a lot of research, did a lot of taking my previous knowledge of and previous experience with previous ideas that I had, ideas that were coming to me, to be able to cultivate something that could be special. And that's creating a program, just really wanted to hit with the students first. And that's why I did an evidence-based program with self-equity program. And that for some schools, there's a 12-week program per semester. And then for other schools, there's 35-week program that we hit some modules when it comes to mindfulness, gratitude, journaling, reflecting, things around that, self-management, how to build a self-care first aid kit. It's a lot of things, a lot of components, activities that we do, and we really get after it every single week. It's a lot of fun for all who involved. I mean, it's a lot of work on me because right now I am a one-man show, officially, but unofficially there are some people behind the scenes that have really, really helped me. And I'm in year 3 of it. This is year 3 of everything. And we've been rolling, we've been asked back multiple years for multiple schools, and just really, really doing our thing. It's been very beneficial for all involved, including myself. I always learn every year. Like this past summer, something that I implemented was a new book. I'll go ahead and put on the screen. New book that I have, Dreaming Big, Achieve Your Goals with Gears. And what that is, it's I wanted to kind of teach, not teach, but introduce a framework to the world. And GEARS is an acronym for goal setting, execution mindset, action plan, reimagining your future, and then solution space. So just going through those 5 things throughout my book, coupled that with my experiences in life where I had to tap into each one of those areas of the acronym to obtain and achieve success. So within the book, there are, talks about each acronym, but what's really special about it, there are questions to ask yourself at the end of each chapter, and there are reflection pages. So I wanted a book out there that was different and unique and that embodied who I am. And so far, I think I released it in July, and I have over 1,000 copies sold. So it's been really, really cool. So that, I wrote it with everyone in mind. Whatever area you are in life, it'll meet you where you're at, in my opinion. But when it comes to middle and high school students, I wanted something that they could read, wouldn't have to struggle with it, and it wasn't, reading. I feel like it's a lost art. A lot of kids don't know how to read. The literacy levels are very, very low. But I wanted to have something that they could take, they can read it, and not struggle with it, and be able to take action. This book implores you to take action immediately, because something I do know about a lot of people, most people, is that there's a lot of procrastination that goes on, and we have there are people who come up with a ton of ideas, a ton, but they never come to fruition because they don't take action immediately. They don't take that feeling and turn it into equity. And those things, it takes a lot. I like to say you got to be. This would be book 3. I'll talk about book 4. Book 2 next. But gotta be committed. Gotta be disciplined. Gotta be consistent. And what you do to obtain success. You can read this book. I can give you all these gems, gold mines, whatever. But if you're not committed, disciplined, and consistent, but then you took a book, you read a book, you hoarded the information, and you didn't use it. So again, like I said in the beginning, how you doing things, how you do everything. This is mainly for middle and high school, because again, that's where I taught. That's where I wanted to have the impact. But again, as a young professional, people, my mom, I sent her a free copy, signed it, and she ended up reading it and purchasing 10 more for her book club. So she's used it in that. I've had college teams, Division I teams, purchase it, use it with their team as of this year. Went down and did a whole day of team building. And that's another thing that I do. So that's what I do in education. But that's the education sector of my business and what I do. Also in education, I do team building. I do those things, but for college teams, sports teams, I do team building, team bonding, reimagining the future of their teams, reimagining the future of leadership. And then in the corporate space, starting to move into the corporate space with more speaking engagements, more leadership seminars and things of that nature. So it's a multifaceted system, a business that we actually do a lot. I say we because there are a lot of people behind the scenes who are working, who are helping me, who are giving me advice, business coach, author coach, all those things. But yeah, it's a lot that I do. That's why I'm so busy. But when it comes to reimagining the future of education, really passionate about it, because I think it's very necessary that we're looking at education very different. And when everything shut down and we had to, like everybody said, pivot and all of that, I really, tapped into my previous knowledge, experience to lock in and have something that was tangible, actionable, meaningful, and purposeful.
Definitely. And if the parents wants to get a hold of your book, how can they get a hold of your book? Where can they find the book at?
2 ways. You can go on Amazon and type it in, Dreaming Big, Achiever Goes with Gears, or Dreaming Big and put Antwon Harris, or you can go to my website, which is AntwonHarris.com, and then you'll click the drop down button to shop, and then you'll be able to go in and purchase that book. But I will say this, purchasing it from my website, you'll have a signed copy. When you have it on Amazon, you can get it, which is cool. Thank you for the support. There won't be, a personal, my touch on it with it being signed. So I sign every book that is purchased from my website. I sign every book and have it for people to use it.
Yeah, I think I might end up getting a copy, and you know what? I'll probably read it myself first, and then I will pass it along to my brother-in-law. He's in high school, so
Yeah.
I'll probably pass it along to him or have him read it first, and then
So you're
I get
gonna
it back and read it.
so you're gonna also with this one, when you order through me, there's something I did new. I recently did because I had a book signing. I had a book signing in Rockford, Illinois, where I partnered with a corporation and they purchased 50 books and they gave them away for free. I signed them all. But then I also gave them this. It's 10 ways to use this book. And I obviously have the first five: goal setting, execution mindset, action planning, reimagining the future, and solution-based thinking. It's good for personal development, motivation, inspiration, entrepreneurial guide, student resource, and life coaching. So just when it comes to that, there's a bookmark that you'll get when you purchase it from me as well, that has ways to use my book. But I've had some really good reviews, very, very proud of it. And I said book two. Book two is going to be released next month. I've turned this book right here into a children's book using some of the same concepts that I had of the book, same concepts, and turn it into a children's book. And for parents, for them to buy and read the book or have their children read the book. And then for schools, I realized I didn't have anything in elementary. So for elementary schools, and they will have a curriculum attached to it for that goes with the book. And then last but not least with that, I have taken all the words out, taken all the color out, that same book, and turned it into a coloring book. So a lot of people come to me, oh man, you just don't stop. Yeah, I don't stop because pressure is forever relevant, whether you're feeling it or applying it. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue to apply pressure, and it's not to anybody else. It's just for me. When I have things and I have these ideas, and I know that it could work, or I think it could work. There's no fear in just jumping out there and doing what I do. So yeah.
And what's the name of that second book that will be releasing next month?
The second book is Dreaming Big with Araya, and it's a story of a little girl. I have 3 daughters, and the name Araya significantly it'll have it in the book. But here's a breaking news: Araya is all of my daughters' names put together. So it's
that sounds like a black thing to do.
yeah, man. I want it to be significant. So having their names, just I just thought it'd be significant, kind of underline the message and dedication page in there to them. So yeah, it's really cool, man. It's really cool. And when you're in this space and you're creating things, you're able to in a sense do what you want. Again, I want it to be everything I do meaningful and purposeful. So yeah.
Yeah. Excuse me. Please let me know when you drop that book because I would like to get that from my daughter. My daughter's 9 years old, so
okay.
I would like to definitely like to get that, and I'll get both of those at the same time, so I'm not going back to back.
Yeah. Here's the thing: just wait. It's going to be on Black Friday. It's going to be a package deal for not only the book, the coloring book, and the children's book. So yeah, just wait until Black Friday. Again, more exclusive breaking news that I'll be having a major sale exclusively on Black Friday for it. So yeah.
Okay, and that will be through both your site and through Amazon, or just through your site?
Just through my site. Amazon. Well, I don't know. No. Sorry, it's gonna be through both. Yep, it's gonna be through both because I had a buddy who was telling me that they were gonna do a big, Amazon's doing a big sale for authors that I can get involved with on Black Friday. So it's gonna be on both. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll definitely would do. I wish I had my pen and paper with me. But I would definitely
send it to you.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, send it to me, and I would definitely get it on Black Friday and stuff like that. So I got something to read My wife could have something to read. My daughter could, have something to read. And y'all go out here, man. Y'all support Antwon Harris, man. Get the books. Um, it's it's all about self improvement by the end of the day.
Yeah.
So please get the books and everything, and tell everybody else about it too. If you feel in the book, you like, hey, this is one of the greatest things I've ever read. Tell your friends and family about it. Let's go ahead and support Antwon Harris, man. Let's see if we could get this book on the best New York's bestseller list. Is that how I say it
Yeah,
right?
yeah, New York Times bestseller.
Yep. That's what I meant to say. So let's go ahead and do that. Please, y'all go to AntwonHarris.com. You click on more, then you scroll down the shop, and then you'll see his first book on there, the first book that
Yep.
he talked about on there, and then of course Black Friday, the second book will be on there as well. So, and he got a deal going on too. So go ahead and get them
Yeah,
both. Go ahead and
yeah,
get
it's
them
gonna be
both.
big. It's gonna be
You're
big,
gonna
man. And
you're
I
gonna shop on Black Friday anyway. So you might as well go
yeah,
ahead and get that. You might as well go and get that.
yeah, yeah. So it's been like so far, man, like I said, over 1,000 copies sold, man. I just really thank God for just the support and people who, I mean, people have purchased this book because when they purchase it for me, like I get to see the region, where they purchased it from. I get their addresses and things of that nature, man. It's been from all over. It's been alumnus from where I went to, people who I played ball with, people who graduated from my university before I did. Again, sports teams, high school. One high school purchased 400. So that really helped out. So it's when I did a professional development this summer, and that allows me in a space because I also speak. People will probably see Twan motivational speaker. No, I do way more than that. Like that. That's just one arm to the business. Like, all right, but in a speaker space, I learned that having a book, it builds credibility. It builds more credibility when you have a good book. And again, shout out to all the people who I've played with, family who have purchased it, people who don't know me that well who purchased it. It's been quite the success so far, and I know one thing about books that they will live forever, way beyond I'm gone when I'm gone. So yeah,
Definitely. And I do know this, man. Again, thanks for coming on and sharing that with us because uh I know a lot of people have been following you for a very long time and they
mm-hmm.
have seen, your growth from, people remember you from you were a little kid.
Yeah,
A lot
hooping,
of us
yeah,
from high school, middle school, high school.
yeah,
A lot of us seen you on TV playing in college and things
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
now you're seeing your growth, a father as business owner and all these things that you do. I just want to say, from me, from my platform, we're extremely proud of you.
I appreciate it,
So
man. I
definitely
appreciate
extremely
it.
proud of you.
Yeah,
I want to ask you, because you talked a little bit about speaking, right?
yeah,
Having your speaking engagements.
yeah.
How did you get into that? And do you remember the first time you spoke, had your first speaking engagement? Was you nervous about it? You did how did you feel that first time you had your very first speaking engagement?
That's a great question. I thought when things happen, when back in 2020, I was like, oh man, you know what? Yeah, I want to tell my story. I want to be a motivational speaker. And that's how I found very soon, like, no, that's that's cool. That could be an additive to the business, but like at heart, I'm a father, I'm a leader, I'm a, coach, teacher, like, so let me get into that and let everything else take care of itself. So going back to my first ever speaking engagement, man, it's really at the age of 5. And at the end of this book, there is a news article of me speaking at the age of 5. And The title of that article is BH Students Urged to Have Big Dreams. Again, it all ties in together on purpose. So at 5 years old is when I first had my first speaking engagement in front of the Ben Harbor Area Schools Board of Education. Did something with Martin Luther King's speech. I had an excerpt from there, which I memorized and did an interview afterwards. And, that's all detailed into the article that I did at the age of 5. So that was the first time. So being nervous, yeah. And then now, every time I speak, there's a level of nervousness because I approach it like I approach the game. Again, learning a lot from a ball player, man. Just how you do anything is how you do everything. Preparation for each speech, preparation for each engagement, just being very prepared, practicing. So there's always, whether it's 5 people, whether it's 50 people, 1,500 people, it's always going to be nervous because when I play the game, like I love getting those butterflies at the beginning of tip off. It's like, back when we played, you had the announcers announce you for starting lineups. And then same thing when I come on the stage. I have someone introducing me every time I come on stage or come into in front of a group, given they give you your background from when you was in college about the starting lineup, your height and all of that. It's just being introduced differently. And how I paralleled all that and parlayed all of that into where I'm at now, it all works and worked together. So it's I continue to get nervous over every speech. If I'm not nervous, then it's a problem. Just like if I didn't get nervous before a game, there like some type of nervousness, man. If it butterflies, had to use the bathroom first, too jittery. Like it was always I always when it comes to that, always nervous, some level of nervousness, and I think that helps me. So,
when you go into your speaking and how much pressure do you put on yourself to deliver that speech? Because I know a lot of people, they put so much pressure on themselves, they hit it every time, right? It's kind of like, when you're out there, you again, like an athlete, you got to perform every time. You put all that pressure on you. How much pressure do you put on yourself when you get ready to go on that stage and you about to, make an impact when you're giving your speeches?
I don't put pressure on myself. What I do is I feel like, again, it's game time. And once you tip off and you get up and down a couple times, then you settle in. Same thing with speaking. Once I get to talking, I get to my first point of the speech, and it's just like, all right, I'm flowing from there. But like anything, you're gonna have, like basketball, good games, bad games. Like speaking, you're gonna have speeches that hit, some that don't. You have some that you may mess up on. Have I messed up on a couple of speeches? Absolutely. Have I messed up in a bunch of games? Absolutely. Fouled at the wrong time. Got too many fouls, and like speaking, like, oh man, in my head, like, ooh, I missed that point. Ooh, the inflection in my voice, the diction in my voice wasn't this, wasn't that. That point didn't get hit where I wanted to be able to captivate the crowd. But yeah, you're constantly, like anything else, going over film and looking back at things to see how you can get better. So yeah, even with the stuff that I have with students every single week, I'm always constantly switching it up because it's like, man, all right, because I go through levels. I got 6th graders, I got 8th graders, I got 9th graders, I got even some 10th graders who have come back from 9th grade to want to be mentors and stuff like that. So it's always constantly changing and just always, keeping me on my toes and getting better. So yeah.
How, when you first started, were you trying to figure out a way how you could connect with the youth?
No.
Okay.
I knew that because I was a teacher.
That's right.
My biggest thing is relationship building. Relationship building, man. I think that's the number one thing I do, whether it's with people, whether it's with students, youth. it's relationship building. Like, we gonna get to know each other first.
Okay.
We gonna get to know each other first before, because like, even when we was in school, man, somebody come in school, they try to implement this, do this, that, and you look at them like, man, who are you?
Right.
And it's like you want to, hear something from somebody you barely even know. So I allow that time, these meetings, these groups that we have at each school, they got to get to know me first, and I be transparent. I'll be vulnerable for them to. Uh, I'll be that to them. So in return, they'll eventually do that with me, and it's a seamless process. There are some kids most kids take to it. And then over time, when they see other people doing it, we live in a world with a lot of followers, where they're good, bad, and different. So they see their friend doing, oh man, yeah, Coach Hair's cool. Like, you should come. It really helps. And people are apprehensive at first, don't want to do it. And that's okay. That's okay. But over time, again, relationship building is number one on every area, every board, whether if I'm talking to corporate, I'm talking to teachers, I'm talking to leaders, I'm talking to youth, I'm talking to teams. We're going to get to know each other first before I even try to come in and say, hey, let me tell you about my book, or let me tell you about these steps, or let me tell you about this, and da 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 da. Nah, relationship building, because I'm a relationships guy.
Yeah, I think that's very important. And like you said, if first thing you kind of want to do is, I think a lot of people don't understand, you kind of want to break that ice and ease your way in, like not
Yeah,
force your way. Like you said before, somebody will come in and automatically they just start, I guess, forcing their authority on someone else, and you get that pushback instead of be like, hey, how y'all doing? It's like almost like sales, basically,
yeah,
open-ended questions and things like that, just to ease your way into it to where they could feel comfortable with you, and you also want to you know don't really want to be as forceful as people think they should, because some people just have that personality.
yeah,
Some people just have it, and I just think that just ease up a little bit, smile
yeah,
sometime,
yeah. That's important. That's
smile
that's
sometime.
That's very important. So, yeah, with students, man, just really breaking the ice. We do activities again. We get to know each other, and it's for me to get to know them to get to know me, but them to get to know each other. Um, and we tap into that very well the first few weeks, and then from there, we roll through what I have planned. Sometimes we go off script. What I have planned is like, man, we may have a more pressing issue today. Maybe I heard something from admin that I need to tap into, and then go from there. But yeah, that's what we do, man. We really, like I said, really get after it, and uh, in all of my schools. So yeah,
So let me ask you this: you mentioned that you were a teacher prior. Um, what has changed in education from your perspective as being an educator, from when
mm,
you were growing up to what it was before you started your business and going off on your business ventures?
my personal experience in education is I had some really good teachers. I had some really good relationship with teachers. Really good relationship with teachers. Relationships with my principal, my guidance counselor. Um, I personally feel like they cared more. I feel like they challenged you more back then, and for me, um, that's growing up and being in the educational system. Um, that's different. When I got into the space, um, you kind of teach how you were taught. You use some of the values in education to use that. Um, so that was the thing. But I think one of the things that didn't happen as much that happens now, because it's more work. it's differentiation and scaffolding lessons for students to understand better. It's a lot of work. I mean, a ton of work when you have people who are at grade level, above grade level, below grade level. You have different type of learners, visual, hands-on, all those different type of learners. So how can I make this lesson touch every person that's in my class and how they learn? And how do I know they learn? From the first few weeks of school when we were building relationships. You get all that information, and then you kind of navigate and work your way through it. With that. What else is different? So scaffolding those lessons, the technology component is very different. Didn't have that as much. We had these big computers. Now you got one-to-one laptops, you got phones, you got everything in the palm of your hand, but are used for different things. So there's been a difference over time. I feel like, again, there was a little bit when it comes to education / sports, there's more parent involvement. PTA, Booster Club was really good. I think that's a reflection of it could be a reflection of how good your teams are in high school. You got a strong PTA, you got a strong backing. You got that Booster Club, you got a strong backing, you got that, you got a standard set. And you see that collective family, that community around those student athletes, man. I think that changes for a lot of kids. It could change the trajectory of their educational experience and athletic experience. Not saying it can change their education. Like, yeah, they may want to do more, but the experience of it, it's the educational experience, the student athlete experience. That will really help. So
I've heard a couple of people talking about the differences between when they were younger, going to school, and they became teachers, and you start seeing a whole different system in place, I guess. And of course, evolution, everything evolves. We got, like you said, the technology in place where it's kind of like teachers are trying to compete with the technology too.
Yeah.
So, but that is how it is. But before we get out of here, man, I just want to say thanks for you to coming on the platform and everything like that. Yeah. I usually give my guests the last word and everything like that. So you have anything that you want to say before we go?
Yeah, actually, again, I can't thank you enough for, us seeing each other again, and just for you, inviting me on the podcast. Thank you for what you're doing with your podcast and really stepping out and doing your thing. And always, we'll want to come back. It's a very welcoming environment. I think, when it comes to podcasting, it is an art, and I think you're going to continue to be successful in it. So again, I thank you for bringing me on, and just really, I've been on this kind of been reintroducing myself to the world, because you mentioned that, in so many words, like, if people know me from hooping, playing ball, and all this and that in high school, yada yada, but no one has really met me, the entrepreneur, the business owner, who when it comes to social, like you only see a small percentage of what I do. I don't have a camera following me around all the time, but it's just a small percentage of what I do. And you allow me to come on here, reintroduce myself to the world as now this person who has his own brand, has his own logo, has his own website, and really out here in the trenches, making a difference. And I just thank you for that. I'm so grateful that you allowed me to come on here, invited me to come on here to talk about it, man. So yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, and y'all make sure y'all follow Drinking After Dark podcast on Facebook,
yes,
Instagram, and TikTok. Make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe to the channel. Also, new episodes are airing every Friday right here on YouTube, or you can check it on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Till next time, Thank you again, Antwon. I'm Darius from Drinking After Dark podcast, and we out. Peace.
All right, peace.
Gotta get to the money. Gotta get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. So you know that I'm on it. Gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids in there. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. And gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids in there. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money.